Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 859, we're going to just talk about Nefarox, the Overlord of Grixis. It's been a long time since M13. We had a 5/5 demon with flying Exalted. You don't see a whole lot of black cards with Exalted. And then, whenever Nefarox attacks alone, defending player sacrifices a creature. Now, this is just a decent generic black deck. I like it. So, in M13, we got Exalted in black, right? And there was a few other cards. I included all of them because the idea here is, well, to get the card in the box is what the idea is. To attack with Nefarox, and because his ability really speaks to commander damage, because him attacking alone is going to be a 6/6 or better. So Duty Bound Dead has Exalted, Knight of Infamy has Exalted, Servant of Nefarox kind of had to be in there, and then the Duskmantle Prowler, all from the same set, all black cards with Exalted. I guess they were just trying to make up for not having Exalted in black before. But, so that's where it's set in the box for a while. But let's look at our mana ramp, because we are in single color black. We have the Expedition map. That way, I know it's not ramp, but it can go get your Rogue's Passage or your Bajuka Bog, whatever. Soul Ring and Dark Ritual, both really good. Anytime a card puts out more mana than it takes to cast, it's kind of really good. Leaden Mirror, Hedron Crawler, Charcoal Diamond for our 2-drops. Pristine Talisman, Alloyed Mirror, and Everflowing Chalice. And then lastly, that Dousing Dagger. I know Dousing Dagger flips over into a land that taps for 3 mana of any color. So I figured with our commander being 6, it's going to die a couple times. Was that 6, 8, 10? Yeah. A little bit of card draw that's not associated with the rest of the deck. Sign in Blood, Read the Bones, and Siphon Mine. I forget how good this is until it's used against me. But now, here is, I guess let's get through the regular creatures first before we get to the other theme of the deck. I figured we were playing mono black, so Squelching Leeches, it counts swamps. So does Nightmare, counting swamps. Paragon, giving all of their black creatures +1. That's kind of like Exalted for our commander. Maybe not. And, it can totally pass out the Death Touch. The Midnight Reaper, I didn't put with the card draw because it's whenever a creature you control dies. So it'll happen a few times. You'll get a few cards, but it's not dependable enough to, in this deck, to be, even though we have some sacrifice things. Vampire Nighthawk's just a good solid magic card. A Signal Pest, the +1 on attacking, if you get everybody. Custody Lich, there again. Monarch is a great ability. And then target player sacrifices a creature. That's kind of a... And then lastly, the Grey Merchant of Asphodel. But I figured, since we're doing the commander damage thing anyway, Dark Favor is going to give it +3. Necrosynthesis, whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. That's not bad, because, we're mono black. Creatures are going to die. Ring of Zathrid, I know it's crazy, but the Regenerate here and the addition of a counter, it's not bad for this. Elbrus, of course, it's going to flip over into a game-ending scenario. The Darksteel Axe and Bone Splitter, just because they're super value. A Fire Shrieker, because here we are. If we're focused on commander damage, Double Strike will do it. that is a Whisper Silk Cloak. Protect him. And then, you know, all those artifacts, we might as well use a Cranial Plating. That's kind of why there's a Darksteel Citadel in the deck. But then here I was. I was like, well, you know what could also work besides commander damage? Poison. So, you know, I mean, it ain't too ridiculous to think that you could get your commander up to a 10 power. I mean, it starts off at 5, right? If he attacks alone, it's 6. So, and this gives +1. So, I was like, well, Plague Stinger's got flying in effect. Just Phyresis, because, you know, I have a couple of 100 of this card. And throw it on Nefarox. The Whispering Spectre, flying infect. I love those two. Now, Snake Cult Initiation is not infect. Not infect, but is poisonous 3. So, if you're, like, say you put the Snake Cult Initiation on an infect creature, it's going to deal its damage in infect, and then because it has dealt damage, they're going to get 3 poisonous counters. That's what poison is. And then, you know, I figured the artifact creatures, you know, Plague Mirror, Phyrexian Digester, Core Prowler, Phyrexian Juggernaut. Phyrexian Juggernaut's a scary thing on the table. I know it doesn't see a lot of love, but it's a scary thing to have a 5/5 infect that must attack. Yeah. And then the Skeleton Shard to kind of get, you know, any of those back. Some generic black cards that I just wanted to try. I love Underworld Dreams. There's always that player at the table who's drawing a ton of cards. I know, because most of the time it's me. And the beautiful part about Underworld Dreams is what it does for Gary. Yeah, I mean, you know, Hissing Miasma. It does. I realize 1 life is not enough to discourage a lot. However, if there is a mass swarm of tokens, it will discourage attacks against you. Because if they have Storm Herded, or the buddy of mine, Clay, has that deck where he makes 4,000 copies of his commander, they're not swinging at me, because he'll instantly die. Yeah, it does work. I mean, it's good for chip-in damage, but on the whole, it keeps you from getting swarmed by tokens. Rise from the Grave, just good. This is, I don't want to use the term super casual because, you know, all the infect, but this is a good, hey, you're interested in Commander? You play black decks. Here you go, try this. And then Head Games, I love this card. Love this card, especially for multiplayer. You get to make somebody's hand. Yeah. So, you can make a best friend or a worst enemy. You know, if I give you that Wrath, will you cast it? Sure. Only got 2 more non-basics. Let's go ahead and... It's a couple cycle lands, the Barren Moor and the Polluted Mire. But now we have a healthy removal suite because, you know, it's mono black. It's what we do. Tragic Slip. 1 mana for -13, and that's what it is most of the time. Because the Morbid ability is pretty well going to trigger between Fleshbag Marauder, Plague Crafter, Merciless Executioner, Demon's Disciple. We have those sacrifice triggers in our deck, so that works wonderfully. Go for the Throat and Doomblade. Now, Ashes to Ashes, I don't really use this one a lot. I should. Ashes to Ashes does both of them are amazing cards. This is 3 mana to exile 2 creatures. Yeah, you take 5, but you probably would have taken more than 5 anyway. It's a sorcery, so you can't do it mid-combat, but exiling is, you know, 2 problem creatures for 5 life. I'll do it. I'll take that trade every time. Quag Sickness, like I said, we are playing mono black. There's going to be some swamps in the deck. Those swamps count for Tendrils of Corruption and Corrupt. Nice little life bumps with them, too. I mean, that's not why we play them. We play Corrupt for the, you know, Hail Mary, we draw it on turn 14, and, oh, look, I can just deal 10. Murder, Necrotol. Now, Sever the Bloodline is one of those cards that does not really lend itself to Commander. But here again, if you've ever died by tokens, or the, yeah, just tokens. Helm of the Host is a real Magic card. So, it's not a bad card. It definitely has its uses. It would be better at instant speed, I know, but... And then we have the not removal Word of Binding. Now, the reason why Word of Binding is in here is because we are relying on Commander damage. And Word of Binding is worded so beautifully. X target creatures become tapped. Not controlled by one player. You can tap the board if you pump enough mana into it. Or you can just tap all the flyers that could block your commander. That's why I've got it in there. And this is the ultimate, don't mess with me, you'll regret it, because I will tap down your entire team and let the board have free swings at you. I know, but if you got to be able to defend yourself at a table of, 4 or 5 people. Anyway, that's what we've got for Nefarox. Just a good old-fashioned classic. I realize that's 2 black decks in a row. Many apologies for that, but sometimes it's that way. So, 859 up on the wall. I don't really know. I've got 4 decks done here. I'm not exactly certain which deck is going to be 860 because I haven't numbered and listed them yet. The way how I build the deck, I guess my process, build the deck, and then I check it off of the database that I have actually built the deck. It goes in the to be listed. I list it. That's a crucial step because, sometimes a couple years can pass between when I start the deck and when I finish the deck, and I can miss 2 copies of, a Dark Ritual or a whatever. So I list them on the Architect, and then they go in the to be filmed, and then I film them, just like I'm doing right now, and then I will upload them. So, several steps along the way. But anyway, that's what I've got for today. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to go ahead and shuffle and cut.